I think that it is interesting what is happening, that we see a lot of women not wanting to be in a relationship, not wanting to date. And then there's another area of people who, you know, have healthy relationships or want to have healthy relationships or want a relationship. A lot of those men that I have known has been like either a man-child, someone who almost expects me to have just endless love and acceptance and understanding while not having that same love and understanding towards me. So where it just goes only one way. A man who doesn't communicate, a man who doesn't like tell me what is going on, a man who is avoiding, like has an avoidant attachment, or is like avoiding conversation, avoiding talking about what is going on. So this could be that let's say he feels rejected by me or something, or I've done something that makes him upset. And instead of saying, when you said that, that made me upset, or when you did that, that made me feel hurtful. I don't know if it's because they don't have the language for it. I don't know if it's because they're scared of doing it. I don't know if it's because they don't even feel what is happening. But oftentimes it just becomes, oh, I'll just shut down. I'll shut down, and then like the whole dynamic changes because he does not want to take responsibility for what he is feeling or thinking in that moment. So he just pulls away. And that is extremely frustrating. And I'm not saying that, like, I can be avoidant too in different instances, but I feel like I've become a lot better at actually saying what I'm thinking or saying what I'm feeling, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it might make the other person uncomfortable or whatever. But it's better to say it and be honest. And then there's another group of men who's like just very, very, very entitled, very, very dominating, very aggressive, very, I mean, again, that's another type of emotional unintelligence, because not communicating is also emotional unintelligence. But someone who is very like aggressive and dominating and feels entitled and is controlling, and he might be very communicative. Is that a word? He might be very good at communicating or saying what he needs or saying what he thinks, speaking his mind. But he does not care about how he treats a woman or how he treats me. He does not care if he is hurtful. He does not care if he does something hurtful. So that's like the two experiences that I've had with men, the two types of experiences. And these are like multiple men, not just one man. I have yet to meet a man who is able to communicate and to not be controlling and dominating and like feel entitled, either entitled to like specific treatment, like he's entitled to be treated better than that, like that I deserve to be treated. Like there's an imbalance, or entitled to my body, or entitled to sex. This imbalance of believing that he's worth more than me, and therefore I have to be submissive to him. And you can't, like, if you meet a man like that, like there's no balancing that out. You can't fight him, you can't change him, you can't adjust to it. Like, no matter how healthy you are, no matter how much you communicate, no matter how authentic you are, it's just not gonna work. If he is like that and he believes that, I mean, I can't say if he's necessarily narcissistic or has narcissistic personality disorder, but someone who just feels like he is worth more, that in general that kind of behavior is just not healthy, because then that relationship is not equal. And a man who is just avoiding talking, avoiding conversation, or just like not not speaking up, not sharing what's in here. You need to be able to do that, otherwise there can't be a relationship. Then it becomes a very like a one-way street. So you, like, I can speak a lot of, I can speak about things, I can talk about what I feel, what I think, or what I think he is feeling or thinking, but if he does not do anything, if he just retreats into himself and avoids and pulls back, then it doesn't matter how much I do or say, because he's still gonna just disappear. And again, I'm not saying that avoidant men can't change, because I do think that there are some who are aware of the fact that it's an issue that they avoid the communication or avoid the relationship. I do think that it's more likely that an avoidant man is gonna be open to change rather than like a more narcissistic type man who thinks he's better. Because an avoidant man doesn't necessarily think he's better. Some might do, but some also think that they are worth less, maybe. So they feel that they're not like worthy enough to express themselves or feel safe enough to express themselves. And again, it's tricky because you, as a partner to an avoidant man, you can be as understanding and as, you know, compassionate and so on towards him and like willing to be there and willing to help him or whatever, but it just, I think it can quickly become codependent, where you start to really adapt to him. He also needs to take responsibility, and he needs to know that it's an issue and know how it feels for you, and like be willing to work with it, so it's not on you, it's not your responsibility to fix him or to heal him or to help him. He needs to be the one who wants to become better at it, so there's a chance of that communication becoming better. So this is just a whole other, or not a whole other, but it's just different from what I talked about in the other video where I closed the comment section, where I talked about, you know, women being afraid of men, women having bad experiences with men crossing their boundaries, assaulting them, or viewing them as objects. That's another type of dynamic, because you're afraid. You are afraid of men because of bad experiences. And then you can still, of course, want a relationship. You can still want to work on it, want to become more safe around men, and actually want to have a relationship or want to relate to men in order to like learn to feel more safe, because you have a hope and you have a belief that it is possible to feel safe around men and to have a healthy relationship with a man. But it's just, it can be difficult if you've had many bad experiences, and, you know, also not just assault or sexualization or objectification from men, and this is not just from partners or something, but it can also just be from strangers in your everyday life. But then that on top of a man who is not necessarily abusive or anything, but is just less emotionally intelligent, or is not able to like be in the relationship as an equal. Because I think it all comes down to like self-worth or lack of self-worth, or feelings of toxic shame about yourself, and that just affects the relationship, because then it either becomes like, okay, this, my partner is worth less, or I am worth less, and that kind of treatment, like a man who ghosts a woman, for instance, or a man who avoids a conversation with a woman instead of actually talking about what's happening, he might be someone who thinks he's better than her, so he feels entitled to do that. But he might also be someone who thinks that, oh, I'm not good enough for her, I am so worthless, so I might just disappear. Like I'm not gonna burden her with my stuff. So I think that's important to remember, that it can be both things. But it all comes down to that idea of either I'm better than her or she's better than me. And that in itself is an equality, because you're not treating each other as equals and as, a work in progress. Like, you're not perfect. You're just trying it out and figuring out how to work together, how to function together in a healthy way. And coming back to the beginning, like, why I think so many women don't want a relationship is because there is so much work in it. And especially, I think, because of misogyny, because women are often expected to be like the mother, the carer, the emotional, intelligent one, the one to embrace it all, and the one to be patient and understanding always, at any time. And that is just so draining. And when she stops being that role, like, it's just rare to find a man who actually steps up and who shows that, okay, I'm in it. Like, I want this. This matters. I'm worth something. You're worth something. Like, let's figure this out. Let's talk about it. Let's work on this together. That kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily about empathy or what it is about in particular, but I do think that there must be something about this sense of worth, that you feel that you're worth something, that you deserve to have a healthy relationship, and that the other person is worth something, and they deserve to have a healthy communication. They deserve that you speak your mind, and that you're honest, and that you express yourself, and that you show your emotions. I think there's a lot of that, and a lot of women who feels like they have to be like a mother or take care of a lot of things, also practically, in the home, for instance, in a partnership, or when you're married to someone. Like, there's a lot of labor that comes from a relationship oftentimes, because there is this, there's this old belief that we have certain roles that we have to fulfill. But I think it's beautiful when we notice that we don't have to fulfill a certain role, that we have yin and yang inside us, the masculine and the feminine inside us, and we can both take different roles. The man can be the more emotional one, the more emotionally expressive one, and the woman can be the leader sometimes, and be the one to protect, and so on. But like, it would just be amazing if it was more free and more dynamic and more more free, in a way, that we could enter different roles and be in a flow with each other that was much more flexible. That's the word I'm looking for, more flexible, and where there's room to make mistakes and room to grow with each other. Because we're not supposed to just find someone that is perfect and then just fit together as a puzzle piece, and then that's it. We meet someone who's also just a person, who's also just, in a growing process, and we can grow together. And yeah, so I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm also not against it. So if I were to meet someone where I felt there was, a good energy and interest in each other and an emotional intelligence, then I would totally be open for it. But it's not something that I feel like I need in order to be happy and fulfilled.